It's been a while, but welcome back to another race day vlog. Tonight we're gonna watch Mikasa go run 6 furlongs on the synthetic for the very first time over at Turfway. Except for we're not going because it's falling season, so I'm stuck here indefinitely. It's fine. It is what it is. That being said, it's been a while since you all have seen Mikasa. I think it's been about 4, almost 5 months. Um, I got a little catching up for you all to do. So, as a little bit of a recap, she won her race over at Belterra, and then we took her to Kingland. And in Kingland, she did not have a good race. She was not acting like herself. She just didn't seem comfortable whatsoever. And then we had a feeling we knew what it was pretty much right off the bat. We believe she had a reaction to her Lasix because we had never given her Lasix before, but in the workout prior, she had bled, and the vet that day had said they're like, "Oh no, I've had a lot of bleeders today, and it's horses that have never bled ever in their entire life. So there has to be something going on with the air today. Like there's something in the air that's triggering all these horses." But to be better safe than sorry, we had put her on Lasix to enter the race, and she had a bad reaction to it. So obviously took that, scrapped it, never using that again. Um and so, that, like, we knew that, like, us as the team are well aware that that was the reason why she did not have a good race. That being said, because she didn't have a good race, it kind of raised, I guess, little mental flags for track vets because she was technically supposed to race, I think it was end of December, beginning of January, like something right around there, right? And she was there. It was over at Turfway, going 6 furlongs on the synthetic again. And she was in the paddock. Everything's fine and dandy. Gets out to the track, warms up. Everything's fine and dandy. They are about to load into the gate, and I I could see from where I'm sitting. I was like, I see them kind of pull her away from the rest of the group, and I was like, oh no. And I see the vet looking at her. And I was like, they're gonna scratch us. I don't know why. I was like, I didn't know if like maybe someone kicked her or like something happened. I don't know what happened at that moment. But I went ahead and closed my camera and everything and walked over to everyone else, and I was like, I think they're gonna scratch us. I was like, and sure enough, that's when they started pulling off the tack and they started jogging her back, and they announced over the loudspeaker that we were a late scratch, and we were like, okay, we thinking something happened, right? And so they bring her into the paddock so they can let the race go. And we watch her jog a couple times, and we're like watching her go back and forth, back and forth. And there's a couple other people there, and we're all looking at her like, I don't see an issue. Like maybe she got kicked or something. Like we didn't know at this point, right? And at this point, the jockey calls us from where he was at, and he was like, "Yeah, no, the vet says she's lame." He goes, "I didn't feel anything. She felt great out there." He goes, "I don't see what she sees." And so the vet came down after the race, and we asked, we're like, "Hey, what was the reason for the scratch?" And they're like, "Oh, she's off." And we're like, "Okay, where? Like, can you help pinpoint? Like, you said she's off. Which leg? Is it like did it look like a foot, an ankle, a hock? Like, can you point us to the direction of where the movement was the issue?" Um, and she was just like, "She's just off." Okay, what leg? I don't know. What? You don't know what leg? She's off anyway. So the vet, anytime, so because the vet scratched her at the race, we automatically get put on the vet list. Okay, and we are on the vet list automatically for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, we are in jail. We can't do anything, and in order to get out of jail, we have to work in front of another vet, right? And so they put us in. So she was in jail because the track vet said that she was not sound. Mind you, the very next day, the other track vet went and looked at her, and he goes, "She's fine. Like, I don't know what she saw." He goes, because the state vet claimed it was when there was weight on her back, when there was a jockey on her back. So they had the jockey on her back and everything. Like the next day, and they're like, "I don't know what she saw." Anyway, so, but obviously the vets looked at her and everything. She passed all their exams with flying colors. But obviously we can't do anything for about 2 more weeks. And so we kind of just bided our time and waited, and then picked out our next race. And she finally is getting to run again tonight. So it's been a little bit of like, really what we think it was is that they saw that she had a bad race last time out. Like she won the race really easily. Her very next start, she had a bad race, and now and then there was like a 2 month break, right? And then so I think for them that vet was just paranoid, and she was like, "This is a red flag for me." And the fact that she couldn't tell us what leg or where the issue was. Like, was it a hip? Was it a shoulder? Was it a foot? The fact that she was couldn't direct us to even like a side, I was kind of like, I have a feeling she just said it because she was paranoid over the fact that she didn't have a good race last time out, and then there was a 2 month break. I think that's what it was. Because anyway, I digress. It is what it is. It's over. Um. So yeah, she's going back to Turfway to run 6 furlongs on the synthetic. Now, this is the very first time she's going to be running on the synthetic, so this is new. Now, theoretically, she should be fine because turf horses or horses that are bred for the turf typically enjoy the synthetic, and she is technically bred for turf. That being said, she didn't like the turf when we tried her on it. You could tell she just got out there and just was like, I do not like the feeling of this. That being said, the synthetic is definitely a little bit different from the turf, and I have found horses, because Peach is a good example too. Peach struggled at Indiana. She hated Indiana turf, but she liked Belterra turf, and she did like Turfway synthetic, and she's also got quite a bit of green turf in her pedigree. So anyway, I'm rambling. She's running tonight, so long as the vet doesn't scratch us again. She's running, and she's going off of the longest shot of the board. She's 40-1, I think, or 30 something to 1. I expect her to drop a little bit because really, anyway, I expect her to be like closer to like 20-1 or something like that. I haven't really looked at the rest of the field. I really don't care. I just kind of hope that she just has a good experience and she's fine. And this is really kind of the question of does she like the synthetic, which I think she will. So if not, then we can take her to Mahoney. I'm not going to go to Mahoney because that's a 4 or 5 hour drive, but that we will just go up to Mahoney because they have a dirt course. If not, anyway, let's see how she does.
The post. And there they go. Serene Waters, one from the outside quickly into stride with Katie's check ride. Here comes Devil of Parody showing good zip. She'll pick up the pace. Morning Miracle and Ain't No Other also up close. Katie's check ride from the far outside covering Thirsty Accountant. Right there with them races Royal Blood and Camp Aquila's about 5 lengths off the pace along the inside. Almost 7 lengths to Stay Faithful. I Got a Bolt, and Red Wine Lady is at the back. Devil of Parody, the big long shot with the lead from Ain't No Other, another big price. Morning Miracle and Serene Waters, a couple of the fancied runners are 3rd and 4th. Morning Miracle within 3 lengths, 3.5 for Serene Waters. They're both closing. And after them is Royal Blood in the 5th position with a good 6 lengths to find at the 5/16. Break of about 3.5 lengths from the inside races Camp Aquila. Camp Aquila races with Katie's check ride. Then we go to Thirsty Accountant along with Stay Faithful. I Got a Bolt and Red Wine Lady. Devil of Parody still at the lead. A big price at 40-1. She's the leader at the 8th pole. Morning Miracle's been chasing for a long time along with Serene Waters and Royal Blood to the far outside. How about Devil of Parody? Holy Toledo! 40-1 in a huge upset. Royal Blood's up.
Well, this is going to be pretty straightforward. She's coming out of the 4 hole. She breaks really well. And the jockey does a great job of kind of just getting her a nice clean position and sending her right to the front. Here's the thing with Turfway. Speed really does do well. If you just kind of break on top, it tends to be a little bit tricky to catch you. Unless you're just a bat out of hell closer, okay? So as long as you can keep your pace, in all honesty, you're pretty good to go, okay? I've won several races over here doing this exact same thing. And this is exactly what she ends up doing. She just gets to the front, nice and easy, nice and relaxed, just a nice long stride. And she just breaks on top and never looks back. I do have to say, because obviously it's not really a lot to talk about, because she just stays nice and relaxed this whole round. Congrats to whoever hit the exacta, which is the top 2 horses of finish, because you got a 40-1 over a 20-1. I know my payday was good just for a win play show, so I'm sure you're thrilled. Anyway, we're kind of coming around the turn. You can tell she's just nice and easy. If you look at how the other 2 horses and the jockeys are riding them pretty well, she's going to get asked right about here to say, hey, company's coming on the outside. You might want to start waking up and going a little more. And she does give him that little bit of a second wind, and she just nice and easy just goes on through the motions. Opens up enough, and right here, he kind of just chills out and puts her away and just rides her home nice and quiet the rest of the way. Anyway, super excited to see this after kind of the rough last two races that she's had. Well, that was definitely worth the wait, wouldn't you say? I do have to laugh a little bit because as soon as she was crossing the finish line as my mare broke water, or not my mare, but as one of my mares broke water, and I was like, I'm so thankful that you at least let me watch the race before you broke water. But that was literally the whole reason I couldn't go to Turfway. I was like, I just know she's gonna go, and she's gonna go during race time. And that's exactly what happened. Anyway, obviously, very proud of her. Um, I definitely think like it definitely kind of is like a sigh of relief after the last two little hiccups that have kind of just left us like really. Anyway, overall, very proud, very happy. I have a feeling she'll probably be back. She'll be back at Turfway. I would assume in about 4 to 6 weeks, give or take, depending on life. And I do expect them to probably jump her up a class because we had put her in the same class level as we did at Keeneland. I think I don't know. I haven't actually looked. I haven't checked. Um, and we knew nobody was gonna take her just because. So she was available for tag, but we knew no one was actually gonna take her just because all of that. And so we'll probably definitely. I'll probably they'll either jump her up to a higher tag, or see if there's more of an allowance, which I would prefer if there's more of an allowance around that range. This is honestly the one thing with racing that I just wish they would freaking figure out. They need to write more races that are either just optional claiming or allowance that are at a lower price level, because unfortunately once you get to a certain level, it's almost all straight claimings. And the problem is some of us don't want our horses claimed and would rather have them in allowances, but you have to put them where they need to run. And they don't have a lot of cheaper allowance races or cheaper optional claiming races that fit the bill. But regardless, so it's just that's my one myth with whenever the hell they're. I have a lot of myths that we don't got to get into right now, but that's anyway. So yeah, overall, very proud of her. Very excited. She just didn't want me there. It's fine, but obviously it's falling season. That is the one downside with Turfway. We like Turfway, and but they run at night, and falling season typically happens at night. So I tend to miss a lot of my races in person. Ironically, it actually happened. Almost the exact same thing happened 2 weeks ago. We had a horse running for a client up at Turfway, and they were like, "Are you gonna go? Are you gonna drive up there?" And I was like, "I would love to, but I have a feeling your mare is actually gonna fall tonight." And sure enough, she broke water, and then like right as they were getting ready to load in the gate, and luckily she actually let us watch the race because she was just chilling, and she let us watch the race before she actually started pushing or anything. But I was just like, two times right in a row. Where's my nickels? Anyway, I guess that's all she wrote for right now. I haven't yapped in a while. Apparently, I just needed to yap. It is what it is. But until next time.